Hello everyone, and welcome to Angel Healing House. My name is Claire Candy Hough, and in today's video, myself and my angelic family, who are known as the Posse of Angels, would like to speak about a topic which we've entitled, A Vote for Humanity. The Posse of Angels wishes to share that they would be remiss if they didn't acknowledge that tomorrow is a day in the United States that people are voting for their next presidential candidate. And they do admit that they have been conspicuously quiet about the election this year, and they wish to assure us that they have not been immune to the build-up over the last few years to this particular run for president, and it seems to have gotten people's attention and in many cases their irritation and anger up like no other presidential election in the past. They want us to make it very clear that the definition to vote is to bring about a collective expression of choice, which then represents the majority. And the Posse of Angels is reminding us that our present state of affairs and our candidate choices did not occur by happen chance, but that we as a collective expression created it to be so, and as such, we are all responsible for this scenario. And from this angel's point of view and the laws of attraction, which clearly state that like attracts like, or what we put our focus on, we will bring to ourselves, it's obvious that the collective, even those who teach and know the spiritual laws of cause and effect, have expressed by their actions and their attention and focus to have these two particular candidates running at this time. For if any time over the past year we've complained or protested or criticized or judged any candidate or have spent time on social media posting against them, then we have unconsciously accumulated energies in the grand vortex of the collective to bring about more of the same judgment. And we can protest all that we want, that we didn't mean to have these judgmental, criticizing, disparaging, and slandering candidates show up in our lives. But the universe does not decipher, and it doesn't distinguish our rationale and interpretation behind our focus, for it will only bring us more of the same energies. Now, the Posse of Angels wishes for us to think back to this past year, and perhaps to all the time and all the energy that we spent on reading posts about the outrageous actions and derogatory words from some of the candidates. And they want us to multiply that by all the others in the collective who are doing exactly the same thing. And it's really no surprise what has shown up in our reality. Like spoiled, bickering children, we must be given time out in order for us to see the error in our ways and the consequences as to the use of our words and our energies and actions, in order for us to realize that we always had the power to manifest a different system and very different candidates. I recently shared with a client that I actually bless this presidential election as a necessary contrast in order for us to finally see what we don't want in our lives, and I hold my prayers and my light for a world that cares more about humanity's needs than votes, money, greed, and power. When we put all of our focus and attention on that which is respectful, honoring, kind, peaceful, and loving, then all other energies which are different to these will fall away, for each of us will not give it any energy or oxygen in order for it to survive. Bless the chaos in the world for teaching us what we have all contributed to with our judgment and our criticism, that we have given energy at one time or another, whether that was through this election or in any other area of our lives. And if we wish to have a very different energy for our world and the leaders we choose, we now realize that we need to choose to focus on very different energies. With our heightened sense of perception and our now clear sight, many of us are in actual shock, and we look on in disbelief as the road to this election has been paved with constant criticizing and other candidates' character, rather than speaking about the issues to serve humanity best. At times, the candidates seemed more like taunting bullies in a school playground rather than mature, well-informed participants addressing the fundamental human rights for all humanity. The Posse of Angels wishes to make it very clear that this election has actually been no different from former elections in the past, and now they are hearing some of your thoughts, saying, "But how can that be true? There were so many racial slurs, so much mudslinging, hateful, crass, nasty remarks, even sexual references and accusations." But they wish for us to know that in previous elections, all of these things were actually there. They were just hidden below the surface and remained undisclosed because it was we as a collective that did not shift our consciousness, our perception high enough to actually see what had been there all along. Many of us are now clear enough to see and perceive the lies and deceptions and which were created by the ludicrously skewed and biased, controlled and manufactured media, and how the dual-party system was always created in order to divide people and never to bring people together for the common good of all concerned. One of the greatest goods to come out of this election is that it has been and it has made more and more people aware and interested in politics. Because of the tremendous contrast that both candidates have shown, it has inspired us to question the political process. If, in fact, there ever really has been an election, or is it just a carefully manipulated theater to put pre-selected, chosen, not voted people into positions to carry out prescribed agendas, which would then benefit only a privileged few on the planet? It has inspired people to see the overwhelming flaws and mishandling in the recording and counting of citizens' ballots. The Posse of Angels is saying that we as human beings needed to become aware and experience the darkness before we could fully experience the light. They are assuring us that it really doesn't matter who receives the presidential nomination, but that the most wondrous thing that has come out of this particular election is that many of us have awoken to asking questions, getting involved, and taking inspired action to seeing that important issues are spoken about, rather than the creation of a spectacle that sells enormous amounts of commercial advertising and diverts millions and millions of dollars away from things like funding education, free college, housing, feeding people, and health care, just to name a few areas. In last week's Angel Healing House radio program, the topic of self-mastery expressed how each one of us has been divinely given the ability to choose how we will experience the world. Now that so many have shifted and awakened into higher consciousness, it's important to create our own reality with our carefully chosen and focused energies rather than allowing others to do this for us. The Posse of Angels is sharing with us not to be ignorant, but to ask to be truthfully well-informed and to not put our attention on anything that is not of the highest order for all concerned. And while many people see this as an historic election for the mere fact that it has brought to light so much corruption, so many lies, profiteering of human dignity and rights for money and votes, others are extremely angry and fearful, as the terrible stirrings of betrayal by our leaders has caused great emotional upheaval. Yet the Posse of Angels do wish for us to know that it had to be played out for the growth of our country. And as for voting, they want you to follow your truth and do what your higher consciousness sees fit. And they want us to know that once this day is over and the winner is announced, the Posse of Angels wishes for us to know that all will be okay. For when it's all over and the dust finally settles, the Posse of Angels is asking us to heal our irritation and frustration. In this way, we can go beyond the feelings of betrayal and focus on our intention on coming together as a powerful collective on planet Earth. And please put all of our focus and attention on creating a humane, kind, respectful, and truthful world for all. The power to create a new humane world has always been inside of us, but we have not utilized our power and have let it be diverted and diluted by a very manipulative system that was always set up to give us the impression that we had a vote, a say in what was best for our country. In this way, it is we who made ourselves invisible, and not the system that was put into place. So with this knowledge, the Posse of Angels is reminding us of how we can all step forward. Firstly, it's imperative to understand that each of us has the power to design the new world. As we can clearly see from this election, it really does depend on our focused intention. It is we who get to choose the energetic makeup of our everyday worlds, and it is we who get to choose a world of truth and peace. But it is tantamount for each one of us to take responsibility for an enlightened earth. Peace does not lie in the hands of a voted, selected, or predetermined president. A humane world does not lie in Congress, and a world of truth is certainly not determined by policies. A humane world lies in each one of us, and the accountability of the words we choose to speak, and the energies of the feelings and thoughts that we carry within our hearts. Each of us is part of the same collective expression that contributed to what has shown up in our reality, because we are the world. How each and every one of us chooses to show up sets the tone for the rest of the world. How we choose to perpetuate judgment and criticism, as is shown in this election, then we need to learn from it and make a choice, a concerted effort to change that by finding ways to see harmony where disharmony existed, finding ways to be kinder, perhaps finding more ways to be honoring and respectful, rather than by choosing shaming and blame. The Posse of Angels wishes to share with us what they are voting for in every single second, in every single day, and not just every 4 years. They are voting that each one of us finally sees and connects to the immense power within us, and they vote for us to make our decisions by connecting through our hearts. For we can clearly see how our current world was created through our rational and not logical way of thinking, that money, power, control, and greed for some were more important than humane, equal, respectful outcomes for all. It is through our hearts that we will create a world of inclusion, respect, harmony, love, and peace. The Posse of Angels are voting today for humanity, and that each of us allows ourselves to realize how important we are to the collective expression. We are all at a very new threshold with this election, and we can all go forward and make different informed choices, armed with the knowledge that the power to change our world did not and does not lie in any elected official, but it always lay within us. Thank you so much for listening. Everyone go out and have an absolutely heavenly day. Take care. Bye-bye.